Hello everyone, I am Arafat. I teach history on the Testbook platform. So in this session, let us discuss a topic of ancient Indian history, that is a megalithic culture. So the megalithic culture existed in India between 1000 to 300 BC time period. So basically the megalithic culture existed in India between 1000 BC and 300 BC time period. The term megalithic is formed of two Greek words. One is mega, the other is lithic. Mega means huge, and lithic means stones. So megalithic essentially means huge stone culture. So the point is, uh, these huge stones, these were the huge stones that were raised in the memory of the dead by the people belonging to the megalithic culture. Let me repeat this point once again. The point is, megalithic means huge stones, and these were the huge stones that were raised in the memory of the dead people during the megalithic time period. So this culture flourished predominantly in Deccan and southern part of India, and it was during this period that the use of iron began, particularly in southern part of India. So basically, the megalithic culture belongs to the Iron Age culture of South India. Let me repeat this point once again. So the point is the use of iron, particularly in southern part of India, began during the megalithic culture time period, that is between 1000 and 300 BC time period. So essentially, the megalithic culture belongs to the Iron Age culture of South India. That's the point. So the point is, this culture, the megalithic culture. Let us first discuss about the geographical distribution of this culture, that is the megalithic culture. So the point is, the megalithic sites or the sites belonging to the megalithic culture have been discovered throughout the Indian subcontinent, but with some exceptions. They have been discovered throughout the Indian subcontinent, but with some exceptions. The exceptions being, so Indo-Gangetic Basin. Here in Indo-Gangetic Basin, we don't see any evidence of the existence of megalithic culture. Similarly in Rajasthan and similarly in Gujarat. So the evidence of the existence of megalithic culture in India comes from almost all parts of the Indian subcontinent except for three regions of India. One is the Indo-Gangetic Basin, the second is Rajasthan, and third is Gujarat. So, though the evidence for the existence of this culture uh, comes from almost the entire part of the Indian subcontinent, but this culture is predominantly seen in Deccan and southern part of India. So, basically, this culture is found existing in all parts of India with three exceptions. But this culture, the megalithic culture, is more predominant in Deccan and southern part of India. Now let us take a look at some very important sites belonging to the megalithic culture. So for example, Karnataka region is very rich for megalithic culture. In fact, the largest number of megalithic sites have been discovered in Karnataka. So, for example, one such very important site is Brahmagiri, and another important megalithic site located in Karnataka is Sanganakallu. So, Brahmagiri and Sanganakallu are very important megalithic sites of Karnataka. And followed by Karnataka, Tamil Nadu also contains a number of megalithic sites. So for example, Adi Channalur is a very important megalithic site located in Tamil Nadu, and similarly Piyampalli, another very important site. So followed by Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana also have a number of megalithic sites. So, for example, one such very important megalithic site of Andhra Pradesh is Nagarjunakonda. This Nagarjunakonda is the name of a place located in Guntur district of Andhra Pradesh. Guntur district of Andhra Pradesh. So this Nagarjunakonda is a very important megalithic site. Then Kerala also has some sites. So for example, Porkalam, a site in Kerala, it's a megalithic site, Porkalam. And finally, in Deccan region, that is in Maharashtra, we also get some megalithic sites. Mostly in Maharashtra, we come across these megalithic sites mostly around the Nagpur region. The whole point which I'm trying to convey is the evidence for megalithic culture comes from all across India with three exceptions. But this culture is more predominant in Deccan and southern part of India. These are the important sites which we just discussed. Now take a look at the structural forms. Let me um, let me uh, let me explain this here itself. So the point is, the people belonging to the megalithic culture did not lead a settled life. We repeat, the people belonging to the megalithic culture did not lead a settled life. They mostly led a semi nomadic life. They kept moving from one place to other place at regular intervals. Possibly the point is they kept moving, the people kept moving from place A to place B, from one place to other place at regular intervals, because the people of the megalithic culture mostly practiced hunting and gathering activity and pastoralism. So the primary economic activity of the people of the megalithic culture is one, the hunting and gathering activity, and second, pastoralism. So the point is these people depended on their cattle for their livelihood. So the point is the the settled. The point is the settlements of the people belonging to the megalithic culture have not been found. But the point is these people did not lead a settled life. That is, the megalithic people did not lead a settled life. Rather, what all information we get about these people is through their graves alone. The point is, the people of this culture gave importance to decoration of their graves. The people belonging to this culture gave importance to decoration of their graves. So, what all information we get to know about the people of this culture, we get to know from these highly decorated graves. Mind you, these graves of the megalithic people period were marked graves. They were marked graves and they were highly decorated graves. That's the point. So the point is, on the basis of different decorations for these graves have been divided into different types. So for example, one such grave type is referred to as cane burial. One such grave type is referred to as cane burial. So in this cane burial, stones are arranged in a circle around the tomb. So this is the burial. So this is the burial. So around the burial, if stones are stones are arranged in a circle, this type of graves are referred to as cane burial. I just told you the people of this culture gave lot of importance to decorating their graves. They decorated graves in different styles. One such style is cane burial. Cane burial only means when stones are arranged in a circle around the burial, it is referred to as cane burial. Second is menhir. In menhir, basically, menhir is an upright stone which is erected on top of the tomb. When a large stone is erected on top of the tomb, it is referred to as menhir. Mind you, these were deliberately erected large sized stones. Third type of decoration which we find in these graves is a dolmen. Dolmen is a big flat stone. When it is placed on top of two vertically erected stones is referred to as a dolmen. I'll just show you the photograph just a while. Then the next type of burial is known as a cyst burial. Cyst, this is a type of a burial in which the uh, the coffin is made with the help of a stone. So basically, cyst burial means stone built coffin box. Stone built coffin like box is referred to as a cyst burial. That's the point. So the point is stone like coffin boxes were made to hold the bodies of the dead people. Such burials are referred to as a cyst burial. Then the next type of burial is referred to as a sarcophagus. So basically the sarcophagus are over the ground the coffin structures, over the ground uh, stone containers which were made specifically to hold the body of the dead. The point is sarcophages are above the ground burials. Basically, these are above the ground stone containers that were made to keep the body of the dead people. Such a type of graves are known as sarcophagus. Let me show you the pictures of all of these different types of burials. So this is the cane burial. So this is basically the place where the dead body was placed, around which deliberately stones were arranged in a circle. Such type of burials are referred to as cane burial. And second is I told you menhir, a large upright stone erected on top of the grave. So mind you can just see for yourself, these were large sized stones, and these stones were erected on top of the tomb, and these were deliberately erected tombs. These were deliberately erected structures. Such type of burials are referred to as menhir. Third is a cyst burial. I just told you these like a stone built coffin like boxes that were constructed, that were made to hold or to keep the body of the dead. So basically these are called as cyst burials. Fourth is dolmen. I just told you a big flat stone placed on top of vertically erected stones are referred to as dolmen burial. So below the dolmen one can come across the dead bodies of the people. So these were also deliberately erected structures. Deliberately erected structures. And I just told you about sarcophagus. Sarcophagus is the above the ground stone containers that were made specifically to keep the body of the dead people. So these were above the stone container, above the ground. These were above the ground stone containers. So at times we can also the archaeologists have also came across ram-shaped sarcophagus. Basically, this is sheep. Ram is a sheep-shaped sarcophagus. That's the point. So these are some examples. Apart from these, there were other types of megalithic burials as well. So what all information we get to know about the people of this culture comes only from their graves. The point is the people of this culture did not lead a settled life. They did not construct any towns. They did not live in planned towns or cities. They kept moving from one place to other place. What all information which we get to know about these people, we get to know only from their graves. So the archaeologists, when they started digging out these graves, the archaeologists began coming across a number of items used by the people belonging to this culture. So the whole point which I'm trying to convey is the material culture of the megalithic people is found inside these graves, the graves belonging to these people, belonging to the megalithic culture. So let us understand the material culture. So basically, the material culture of the megalithic people is mostly reflected in two types of objects. One is pottery, the second is metallic objects. So when the graves were dug, inside the graves, a distinct type of a pottery was found, which the archaeologist named as PRW pottery. So when the graves were dug, inside the graves, the archaeologist found a distinct type of a pottery, which the archaeologist named as BRW pottery. BRW stands for black and red ware pottery. Basically, these were the red color pottery on which one can see the paintings done with black color. So basically, these were the red pottery which contains the black color designs on it. Such type of a pottery is referred to as BRW pottery. So these pottery, mind you, were found inside these graves. And secondly, inside the graves, metallic objects have also been discovered. Metallic objects have also been discovered in the graves. At a point. So which type of metallic objects? Mostly iron objects have been discovered. Iron objects have been discovered. So in fact, a number of iron tools and a number of iron weapons have been discovered inside the graves. So these objects have been discovered along the dead bodies, along with the dead bodies, along with the skeletons of these individuals. Second metallic object, gold and silver objects have also been discovered. A number of gold and silver objects have also been discovered inside the graves along with the dead body. Third, a number of copper ornaments and copper utensils have also been discovered. Copper bangles, copper earrings, copper utensils have also been discovered inside the graves. So the material culture of the megalithic culture, let me repeat, the material culture of the megalithic people is reflected in two objects. One is pottery, the second is metallic objects. These were the metallic and pottery objects. Then I told you, let us spend time discussing about the settlement pattern of these megalithic graves. The settlement pattern of the megalithic graves. Okay, points. Where exactly do we come across these megalithic graves? Did the megalithic people had any specific preference uh, for constructing the megalithic graves? The answer is yes. Mostly the megalithic settlements or the megalithic graves have been discovered near three locations. Mostly the megalithic graves have been found near three locations. I told you most of the megalithic sites or megalithic settlements have been found in Deccan and southern part of India. And even in Deccan and southern part of India, the megalithic graves have been specifically found near three locations. The first is near mountains and hills. So most of the megalithic graves are found near mountains and hills. Why? The reason being, the megalithic people gave lot of importance to decorating their graves. The megalithic people gave lot of importance to decorating their graves, and therefore they preferred to live near regions where there is a sufficient availability of large sized stones. Therefore, the megalithic people gave importance to living near regions where there is sufficient availability of large sized stones. Since large sized stones are available near mountains and hills, these people, the megalithic people, preferred to live near mountains and hills. This is point number one. This is their first preferred location for the megalithic people. Second is the megalithic people or megalithic graves have been found near mines. So the point is the megalithic people practiced a number of crafts, particularly they practiced a number of metallic crafts. such as iron smithy, etc., etc. So the point is, the megalithic people practiced a number of crafts, particularly the metallic crafts. And since they practiced metallic crafts, the megalithic people preferred to live near regions where there is a sufficient availability of iron. Since they practiced metallic crafts such as iron smithy, the megalithic people preferred to live near regions. They preferred to live near regions where there is ample availability of iron ore, which was very, very important for them. Third, the megalithic people preferred to live near the source of water because people had to exist, they need water. Therefore, the megalithic people preferred to live near the sources of water. So the point is, most of the megalithic graves have been found in three distinct regions. One, near mountains and hills. Two, near the mines. Third, source of water. So the point is, if all the three are found in close areas, in nearby areas, near such areas, most of the megalithic graves have been discovered. That's the point. So this is the settlement pattern. Now come to subsistence base. That is, what did people do for their living? What did the megalithic people do for their living? The point is, according to most of the scholars, pastoralism and hunting and gathering activity, hunting and gathering was the primary economic activity of the megalithic people. Let me repeat, according to most of the scholars, uh, the megalithic people practiced pastoralism, hunting and gathering as their primary economic activity. That's the point. So the point is, the scholars have come to this conclusion because a number of iron objects have been discovered in the weapons, but of these iron objects, a number of iron weapons have been discovered than the iron tools. Let me repeat this point once again. I told you all the objects used by the megalithic people have been discovered inside the graves. So when the graves were dug out, a number of iron objects have been discovered. Iron objects such as iron tools and iron weapons have been discovered. But the point is, the iron weapons outnumbered the iron tools. The iron weapons outnumbered the iron tools. It means that iron weapons were found in large quantities than that of the iron tools. Usually, the iron tools are used in agricultural operations, whereas iron weapons are used for mostly hunting and gathering activities. So, weapons are used for hunting and gathering, whereas tools are used for agricultural operations. Iron weapons have been discovered. Since more iron weapons have been discovered than the iron tools, the scholars are of the view that possibly the megalithic people practiced pastoralism and hunting and gathering as their primary economic activity. Second, agriculture was also practiced. The megalithic people also practiced agriculture, but it was their secondary economic activity. That is the point. So they practiced agriculture undoubtedly, but they practiced it on a very, very limited scale. So the point is, mostly in the central part of India, the megalithic people cultivated crops like wheat, barley, and lentils. Whereas in southern part of India, the megalithic people mostly cultivated rice, but they cultivated extensively millets and green gram. The rice was also cultivated, but on a limited scale, but extensively millets were cultivated. That is, on a large scale, millets and green gram were cultivated. So the whole point is, agriculture was practiced, but it was not a primary economic activity. It was carried out on a limited scale, but of the grains produced, more millets were produced than the rice. more millets and green grams were produced than rice in South India, whereas in central part of India, wheat, barley, and lentils were cultivated. The point. Now come to social life. Let us understand what was the social life of the megalithic people like. What kind of life did they lead? So the scholars, whatever information we get about the social conditions of the megalithic period comes only from the archaeological sources. So with whatever archaeological source which we have, we are trying, the archaeologists are trying their best to reconstruct the social life of the megalithic people. So basically, believe the archaeologists believe that the megalithic society was a patriarchal society. The megalithic society was a patriarchal society. So patriarchal society is a society in which the men dominate. So basically, patriarchal society is a male dominated society. So the scholars are of the view that the megalithic society was a male dominated society. But why did or how did the scholars come to this conclusion? This was because when the graves were dug out, when these marked graves were dug out belonging to the megalithic period, mostly the skeletons of male have been discovered. Male skeletons have been discovered. So the marked graves of the megalithic people or a megalithic period contained male skeletons. A few female skeletons have been discovered, but most of the skeletons found in the marked graves belongs to that of men. So what does it indicate? It indicates that possibly men were given more preference and women were given not much of preference. The point is, this indicates that men were treated as superior. Therefore, when the men died, their graves were properly decorated, and it is on this basis the scholars have come to this particular conclusion. So basically, the scholars believe that the megalithic society was a patriarchal society. Second, the scholars also believe that the megalithic society was also a class divided society. The scholars believe that the megalithic society was a ranked society. It was a ranked society. So, but how did the scholars come to this conclusion? This was because, once again, when the graves were dug out, so inside the graves, some graves had the grave goods, some graves had the grave goods. That is, what are the grave goods? These were the goods that were decorated, that were buried along with the dead person. So for example, it could be iron tools, weapons, it could be the food grains, it could be the jewelry used by that dead person. So along with the dead body, goods used by them were also deliberately buried along with the dead body. So some graves had grave goods, while some other graves did not have grave goods. What does it indicate? This indicates that some people during the megalithic period were rich, and therefore when they died, along with them, the goods used by them were also buried. Whereas some people during the megalithic period did not had money, they were not possibly rich, they did not possess any goods. So therefore, when they died, only they were buried, and along with them, no grave goods were buried. So the whole point which I'm trying to convey is during the megalithic period, the point is some graves of the megalithic period contained grave goods, while some graves of the megalithic period did not had any grave goods. So on this basis, some scholars believe that possibly the megalithic society was a class divided and a ranked society. Come to religious beliefs. So the point is, our understanding of the religion of the megalithic people or megalithic period also comes only from their graves. We have no other evidence, we have no other means of knowing the religious beliefs of the megalithic people. What all information which we get is only and only through their graves alone. So the point is, some scholars believe, some scholars argue that possibly the megalithic people had belief in afterlife. Some scholars believe that the megalithic people had belief in afterlife, that is, life after death. So some scholars argued that possibly the megalithic people believed that there is one more life after death, and since they believed in afterlife, they started, no, they indulged in the practice of burying the goods along with the dead person. So the point is, the scholars believe that the megalithic people had belief in afterlife, and the scholars have come to this conclusion because along with the dead bodies, grave goods were also buried, and usually grave goods are buried along with the dead bodies only when they believe that there is one more life after death, and for the use of the person who may come alive, such goods were also deliberately buried along with the dead person. So the very existence, the very find of the point is the discovery of the goods, the discovery of the goods along with the discovery of the goods along with the dead bodies indicate the belief of the people in afterlife. So this forms the religious beliefs of the megalithic people. So in this session, we have seen what megalithic culture is. We have seen where all this culture was spread. We have taken a look at the geographical distribution of the megalithic culture. Third, we have tried to understand the material culture of the megalithic people. Fourth, we have briefly discussed the economic activities of the megalithic people, followed by the social life, and further followed by the religious beliefs of the megalithic people. We have also discussed the different styles which the megalithic people followed for decorating their graves. That's the end of this topic, megalithic culture. So kindly do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.